Thank you very much for having me. It's a very great honor to have me start. I am very happy to speak. And I will start by telling you that I believe this is the best time to be born a Nigerian. I also believe very much that there is a lot of advantage in what we are having today as Nigerians. I will say that there is an unintended advantage in having Buhari sustain his incompetence of our diversity and also continue to employ nepotism as a policy tool for his work this tenure sitting as president of Nigeria. I'm saying this because historically it's been us, Igbo, that were misconstrued to be the problem of Nigeria. Because, don't forget, our country was colonized twice by the Fulani over the Hausa states and the British across all lands. But at independence, the British left and the Fulani stayed behind. And you can see it is that they are staying behind that they have used to undermine progress in the Hausa areas and also undermine the progress of the North. And I believe that very undermining of progress of the North is the reason why the country's progress has been stunted. As I speak to you today, as part of that stunting of Nigeria's progress, today, Hausa land represents the area with the largest concentration of children without access to formal education than anywhere else on earth. It is followed by the Pakistanis and the Pashtunis in Afghanistan because the elementary institution in Hausa land is the same as the madrasas in both Afghanistan and in Pakistan. Now, we as Nigerians, we have now embraced democracy, and I will say in 20 years of democracy, we have suddenly seen that the Fulani are not very comfortable with democracy. Why? They don't have numbers. And because they don't have numbers, and because democracy is a numbers-based business, that's why they are doing all they are doing currently to try to delegitimize Nigeria's democracy. Today, as I speak to you, the Fulani are not only a nuisance in the southeast where the Igbos are, the Yorubas have today formed a multi-group against them. They do not have any welcoming embrace in Taraba where the Jukun, Zukutel, the Chamba, the Kaka, the Pansa are against them. Not in Plateau where they are currently killing the Birums. And of course, you know the problem we have now in Gendeli. They are fighting in Bachama Newman against the Bachama in Adamawa State. They are also fighting against the Igbo, Koto and Igbokene, and of course the Gala in Kogi State. So what I will actually advise our people is they should be calm. Why? Those who sought to undermine us have now also been found out to be the major problem of Nigeria. I believe that Buhari has unintendedly built a Nigerian consensus against his people, and in this I refer to the Fulani Redentist movement. You hear about the kidnappings, you hear about the rape against indigenous rural farmers. These are committed by those that Buhari sought to build settlements for when he begged states to give him land for him to build Ruga. Ruga did not materialize. And of course, the areas in the south refused to yield their land. And that's why you're today seeing the war in Katsina, in Zamfara, and Sokoto, where today the Fulani are inviting other Fulanis who speak Bambara and Wolof from Senegal, from Mali, from Gambia and Guinea to come here and sustain this crisis. And when I think about disruption, I tell people that the democracy has been very disruptive to the Fulani and that we should not worry because Buhari's presence is tenured. It is it cannot be more than 4 or 8 years. And when he finishes, they want to because they can. The Fulani Yemenis here first to the Kanuri areas, and during the time of the Kanem-Borno Empire, the Sheikh who refused them, they were also rejected by the Mande in Fota Toro. They were also rejected by the Mandinka in Fota Jalon. They were only accepted by the Hausa in Gober. They were given a space in Gober to stay, from where they now use to launch attack against the Hausa, kill Sarki Yufa, and as I speak to you today, no Hausa man is emir anywhere in Hausa land. That because of its embrace of democracy, we now have the last colonial masters, the Fulani, now to reacting violently. And I want to tell every Igbo man that we should actually be happy at where we are. Our inability to explain to other people what we saw that was wrong in Buhari and the fellow Fulani redentists is what people have finally found out from Buhari's incompetence in managing Nigeria's diversity and the foolishness of a lot of his policies, especially the policy of exclusion, which we call generally nepotism. And I blame those Igbo people like Governor Dave Umahi, his fellow PDP man with me, but foolishly thinks that a man who cannot appoint his brother, Megad, can actually make him king. And that's why I refer to him every time. I say, Mo, I think this is an existential period. We should be very, very mindful of how we foolishly trust people so that we do not end up like Hausa who trusted the Fulani and then ended up losing their kingdoms. Today, Hausas are not emirs anywhere in Hausa land, even though they dominate the Northwest by up to 85% of the population. Today, Hausas are the poorest people in the country, poorest people on earth, and their area is home to the largest concentration of humanities children without access to formal education. What I want to tell off this confusion called Nigeria, arranged by the British, and I think the British did well. But then, now that they have gone, it is left upon me and you to complete that which our forefathers did not complete, which is either we make Nigeria a successful nation, or, as I hear, we sustain agitation for that which will force other people to come to the table. Because I believe and I agree, power does not concede without a demand. So we must make some demands. Either we demand for the moon, and if we're settled with an estate downstairs, that will be better. But power never concedes without a demand. It has never done, and it will never do. So I think this is a very good time, and I do not think any Igbo man should despair, because this is a good time to be born a Nigerian. We today dominate this country in education. We dominate in direct domestic investment. We also dominate in a very, very important part of this awareness. We've been able to teach our children about God. We've been able to give them good education. We've also been able to raise strength of awareness, and that's what I think is good. The quality of awareness today in Nigeria is unprecedented. And I believe tomorrow is a good time. I'm in Abuja here. This afternoon, I returned from Sokoto. I went to visit places where there are crises. Places in Zamfara, in Maru, in Anka, in Angobe, and Esedawu. The problem that we complained about back home in the East is also available here in the North, because Buhari allowed refugees from Mali, from Central African Republic to come into Nigeria, and then he engineered the issuance of Nigerian identity papers to them, and you see them coming down to the South. If anybody you catch doing something that is very un-Nigerian, tells you he's a Nigerian, ask him where is he from. The people they just caught in Ebony that claim from the Nasarawa state, they don't come from there. Fulanis are not indigenous to Nasarawa state. And this is the reasons why I think, let the police officers who arrest these people, take them to where they claim they come from. And one by one, we'll build our case to see that these people are not Nigerians. These are migrants, refugees who are here because of the crisis in Mali, because of the crisis in Central African Republic. We must now come together as one people, as Igbo. Igbo, we were the original ones who connived with the British. When Olade Ekweno from Iseke connived with the British, got friendly with Lord Wilberforce, he continued to preach to William Wilberforce until Wilberforce, through his work, achieved the proclamation after about 266 years of slavery. Even though, yes, I agree, we're not yet free, and they continue today in Igbo land, the Fulani who came from Yemen want to imprison us. I believe if we come together, work together, and they're very, very alert and sensitized about what today is, we will be able to defeat those who seek to undermine us, who seek to also jump upon our ancestral lands. This is a time for us, no matter where we are, to come together. Come together.
Dr. Tachi, sorry, Maz is okay here. Sorry that I jump in a little bit. You know, our conversation here, I mean, we know some of us are Igbo, and we have other, also other ethnic nationalities here. The question basically, as I alluded, was we have, for instance, the Nigerian nation has a debt crisis issue. Now, we are not even generating enough. And we have seen, I probably would have want you to probably go towards where we can see a clear marginalization. Let's say, for instance, the issue of loan, where loan is being taken, and one section of the country doesn't have any project that is cited within their territory. And these loans, and as Atiku Abubakar alluded to, that we are taking so much loan, and that we are obviously, the way we are going, we have nothing to bequeath to our children except debt burden. Does it mean that Nigeria, as it stands today, is basically driving into a place that is going to be hard for Nigeria to recover? You know, I take, you know, when you started making allusion to the Fulanis, and that's fine, but let's bear in mind that this is a national conversation where we look at it from a more holistic view as Nigerians. And because at the end of the day, if the nation crashes, it's going to be, you know, it's going to affect everyone. Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Efik, Ibibio, everyone is in this mess together. Sorry if I broke your line of thought.
No, you did not break my line of thought. You only helped to emphasize that where I was going to also has some other legs. What I'm talking about is exactly what you touched on. And I will talk about where you touch on, because there is now a borrowing, which is also based on the fact that we, Igbo, will also pay. But in that borrowing, we, the Southeast, are excluded. That's what I'm telling you about. Buhari's employment of nepotism as policy in listing those who will gain from the borrowing is totally unacceptable. And it is part of this same thing that I'm talking about. Yes, I have talked about his nepotism and the way it has now gone on to undermine national security. You have now brought about his nepotism and the way it has also gone on to advise his mindset in regards to emplacement of infrastructural benefits as a consequence of this money that he is borrowing. That is where we are. Buhari does not believe in Nigeria, and he is taking money right now. And that money he's taking, Edo State is not part of it. The entire Southeast is not part of it. Yet, we own part of the oil that will be used from its receipts to offset this borrowing. And of course, as you rightly pointed out, Atiku's position that we are borrowing the future generations into debt. And not that we are borrowing actually to commit to national progress. No, we're actually borrowing to consume. This is one of the worst forms of corruption. We are borrowing to consume. You look at that expenditure plan, you'll see that 40% of the money being borrowed actually goes to consultancy. So it's all part of this thing that I've been talking about. Buhari's employment of nepotism in his own mindset to promote the aspirations of simply one tribe, his people, the Fulani, has undermined our confidence in the Nigerian project.
Okay.
That's why I tell people, no matter how bad he has shown his incompetence in managing our diversity, nobody should despair. Okay. Because what he is doing is probably trying to create space for those who will steal money. You're not going to see that money anywhere.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I know you, when you are fired on, you know, you're already fired on. Thank you very much for your contributions. And I take two things away here. You said that now is a very good time to be a Nigerian and that Buhari doesn't believe in Nigeria. Anyway, I'll leave these for people to also take note, and we'll get to the question section. I would start with Katch or Ononuju. Again, Katch, you can now unmute yourself. You've had the submissions made by Professor Femi Olufemilade and Val Ozibo. So I don't know if you have further input to make. Thank you.
Yes, I am happy to hear Professor Femi speak, and I'm also very happy that he has expressed his disappointment in regards to the baby that he helped to give birth to. But I will simply put that we are humans and that we now need to come together. I've always preached for a pan-Nigerian consensus. It is us and Professor Femi that will build that pan-Nigerian consensus and be able to save our democracy, save our country, and save sub-Saharan Africa. Because as I have seen it, we are at a place where we historically have never been before. And for me, I'm very excited about this place. And that's why I keep telling people, this is the best time to be a Nigerian. Why? We have now gotten to a place where for the first time since the amalgamation by the British, we now have an avalanche of awareness suddenly available in our country. And this strength of awareness we have is what I believe we should use to sensitize those who are not yet sensitized, and then come together to fix our country. It is a shame that we are regarded on earth as a country with the largest concentration of children without access to formal education. If me and the Professor Femi can come together, I'm sure we can forget about the past, keep competitions aside on the tribal front, and then be able to save Nigeria. I think the Southeast, the Southwest must work together to save our country. No other time could we come to where we are right now That's why I say, no matter what it is, that we say we must find the glimmer of hope in Buhari's incompetence in handling our diversity and also the foolishness of the policies. I do not believe anything will change because we've seen it all. Professor Semi and co were abandoned, and instead the president embraced the agenda of the Miyetti Allah. And I think we should simply admit, yes, we've been hard, and we should then plan for a better strategy next time if we are on to build a country. Because right now, we do not yet have a nation. What we have is a country respected for its contiguous borders, but we do not yet have a Nigeria that is a nation. I am very optimistic about tomorrow. I am also very happy that both my people and those in the South are not happy at the sudden turn of their investments. I believe very much that there is a lot that we stand to gain if we're able to make Nigeria into a nation that we all can believe that this nation does work towards meeting our aspirations. I am very optimistic about that, and I believe that will come true. But for that to work, I need to work with Professor Femi. Now that he has seen that his bet did not win anything, he made a mistake. And of course, I'm willing to forgive and say we are brothers and let us work together for the sake of bequeathing to the generation unborn a nation that they can be very proud. Our fathers worked well. The first time they didn't get it right in 1960. The second time now that we have this avalanche of awareness, we are able to build a pan-Nigerian consensus and secure the Nigerian nation and stop all this nonsense. I'm happy he said that Amotekun arose out of a need to embrace self-help. Well, I'm also telling him it's also the same thing I've seen in Taraba, in Benue, in Plateau, in Kogi, and of course in the Southeast, where you have leaders who, for their own private selfish intentions, are willing to mortgage the security of the entire region. For me, that is the most serious problem right now. The economics will fall in. We've already seen that we can do very well economically. And I also am not happy that we have a lady prancing about just trying to speak so much grammar so as to be able to be allowed to steal so much money at the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. But I'm very optimistic that we'll get it right, even though we have now seen the mistakes involved in our poor judgments. I believe that we should come together. And in this case, I mean, the working together by the Southwest and the Southeast holds the key to fixing the Nigerian project. And from that, fixing the sub-region. Because those that Professor Femi has trusted are really not interested in Nigeria, premised upon a nation that looks after the aspirations of all. No, they seek Nigeria on their own terms. They seek Nigeria where subjugation will be what it is. And I come from a place where my people do not accept subjugation. And that's from all I have tried to study through the 60s has been my people's main offense. They refuse to acquiesce to subjugation. And that's that. So I believe that it's good we've come to where we've come to, and those who have made mistakes have recognized that, yes, they had very poor judgments. And then let us sit down now and work together to actually bet that Nigerian nation that our fathers originally intended that should be the right course for us all to pursue. Okay. I believe that is doable. I believe that is possible. I am very optimistic that we will do that if the leaders of the Southwest and leaders of the Southeast come together, as it is inevitably, because for the Southwest to, on their own, without prudence, to set purpose toward formation of a Amotekun, which Professor Femi agreed to me, is a result to self-help. Simply means that we who are also challenged by people who speak Bambara and Wolof, not any of the Nigerian languages, would not win. For me, that's what I believe to be the most existential problem Nigeria has, not economic problem. We have managers who can steer the economy to a better part. I do not think that's an issue. The idea of employing nepotism as a policy of states, for me, I believe that is not an APC policy. I believe it's also a consequence of the hijack of power by President Buhari. And that's why I believe the best that Nigeria can give is very much in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Katch.
Thank you very much. Let's take the final comment from Mr. Bad Ononuju, please, and then we proceed to calling it a day.
Thank you very much. First, I will want to tell you despair is not an option. The majority of people in northern Nigeria want restructuring. The Hausas want restructuring. The TV wants restructuring. The Birom want restructuring. The Jukuns want restructuring. The Tangale want restructuring. The Gala, the Brakoto, the Brok, and they want restructuring. The only people who refuse and resist progress are the Fulani, not the Hausa. Please get this properly. You need to also understand the history of the country to understand why this is so. The Fulani are the only people today in the country who historically are not indigenous. They came from Yemen. They were colonial masters over the Hausas until the British defeated them by killing Sultan Atahiru in Gombe. After defeating the Arewa Confederacy, and of course, exiling Oba Vanwen and Benin, they took control. Today, we have independence. In the 60s, the British left, the Fulani stayed behind. They don't have plenty population. But of course, what you're seeing right now fits into that maxim. Every society established through the shedding of blood to maintain control, you must be willing to shed more blood. So that's why you see now we are a democracy. And because the Fulani did not agree to assimilate with the indigenous populations of northern Nigeria, now you're seeing that they are now favor in the democracy. They are really feeling the disruptions that the democracy has brought, that has actually tended to undermine their positions of entitlement. That's why we have this crisis. The problem today you have security-wise and in the political space is not from the north. No, it is only from that singular people, the Fulani. And this is why I said earlier, for us to break this, don't look to the docility of the Hausas and others in the north. If the Igbo and the Yoruba can come together, if the Southwest and the Southeast can come together, our problem will be solved. But of course, when you now talk about it, you consider there are among the Igbos and even among the Yoruba, some selfish, self-centered people who do not think about the larger interests of the bigger population, but what they get. We have it today in Igbo land. Somebody, a governor whom I've spoken to face, I said, the history of these people is, the minute they come in, they will be nice to you, they will smile. But that really is a Trojan horse. They get in there today in his state of Ebony. I'm hearing of killings. I see people being raped to death. And I call privately, I said, that man claiming he's from Nasarawa State is not a Nigerian. These are the people Buhari wanted to build Uruga for. Uruga was simple, a settlement for refugees who will come because they had been displaced due to crisis in Mali, crisis in Central African Republic, and those who are living within the wall-off areas of Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, and Mali. These are not Nigerians. There are no Nigerians applying to leave their villages today and go resettle in some hostile communities that own some forest. It doesn't exist. This is where we said, yes, we've made a mistake. Those who made a mistake to bring in Buhari, agree now you've made a mistake. Let us build a brand new consensus to save Nigeria. These people are not going to give up power easily. I said earlier, power never concedes easily. It never has, and it never will. It only will concede when you make a demand. Instead of giving you 20 that you're asking for, it will tell you, okay, I'll give you 10, I'll give you 15. So if you are afraid of what will happen when you protest, you're not going to get it. Because why? No country gets well without a struggle. Look at the Irish struggle. As a student in the United Kingdom, I learned about the St. Patrick's Day simply because I was having some Irish friends. Today, the Nigerian problem has been given an international perspective, and I believe that should sustain. The only way you gain your way is to put pressure. And that pressure only comes when you organize to protest. But more than protesting, I am very happy that the people, our brothers from the Southwest, have seen why you cannot trust the Fulani. Let us now work together. It is the only way, nothing else. I am currently, as I'm speaking to you, I'm working with the President Obasanjo. He does believe that, yes, some of them made mistakes. Yes, he made a mistake. Some of them were sold on stories of one Nigeria. But then, those who were saying one Nigeria didn't mean one Nigeria. Today, we've seen it. Buhari doesn't believe in Nigeria. If not, why will he be inviting people from Mali and try to put them into bushes across the country? There are no Nigerians from Sokoto, Katsina, Zamfara, or Kano applying to be moved from their homes and to be placed in forests in very hostile communities. It doesn't exist. These are refugees. The reasons why nobody in the APC has found the courage to challenge Buhari in this, I do not know. But I understand that the Southwest people who engaged them in constructive engagement saw this, and that's why they formed a multicune in reaction. But we must go beyond rhetoric and set purpose towards real actions. If, and I repeat, the Southwest is able to bring itself down and go into alliance with the Southeast, because already what I'm telling people when they ask me, what do you think about 2023? I say, no, no, no. Buhari has done 8 years of the turn of the North. It now has to come to the South. If you like, let it go to Benin. If you like, let it go to Uzakole. If you like, let it go to Otipupa. It has to come to the South. And that's the mindset I have. So we in the South must first and foremost sit down and recognize that those who have taken advantage because of their control of the army under dictatorship to write decrees in a way that gives them all the advantage and forced us to also agree to take those decrees at Decree 24, committing them to become our constitution. They will not have the last laugh, no? They will not have the last laugh. We must come together now that we've seen that we've made a mistake to chart a new path for our people. It is the only way to save our country, save our democracy, and set sub-Saharan Africa on its true path to greatness.
Thank you very much.
If the Southeast and the Southwest do not come together, we're not going to make any progress. We've seen everything. We've checked all the places that we want to go to. The next thing remaining for us now is cooperation amongst our people in order to impart that nation that we seek to the generations unborn. Thank you.